Hello metalheads, let's talk about metal and the band Iron Maiden. Yes, I did a top ranking of my favorite songs by Maiden, but now it's time to do an album ranking. Oh yeah! So that discography is quite amazing, almost all along, and even the top 10 is all excellent to masterpiece album. So, let's dive into the first one. It's the eponymous first album with Paul Di'Anno on vocal, Dave Murray and Dennis Stratton on lead guitar. You have Steve Harris, one of the founder of the band, with Dave Murray on bass, and you have Clive Burr on drums. So, it was a really good lineup to start this first adventure. 1980. This is my 10th favorite album by Maiden. I give it 80%. I know some people will throw a lot of things at me ranking that album so far at 10th position. I think it was just raw, fast, a lot of punk attitude in the sound, but you can already see the slightly intricate progressive approach they will have on the album that will follow, not Killers, but other one, especially in the song Phantom of the Opera. What a great instrumental track is Transylvania as well. Eddie is there right off the gate, and at the time he took the world of music by storm, especially metal, with that visual, and at the time it was probably the most badass cover ever made. So really nice. And you have Martin Birch on the production, which is a legendary producer, sorry, pardon my French. And that's it for this one. Coming in 1981 is Killers the next year, and it's my 8th favorite album by Iron Maiden. Adrian Smith is replacing Dennis Stratton on lead guitar. It's a better album to me, with straightforward songwriting, in-your-face fast song, more catchy, guitar-driven. Paul Di'Anno's voice fits the bill perfectly. I really love tracks like Innocent Exile, Another Life, Murders in the Rumor, Genghis Khan the instrumental. Wow, all great stuff on that. And okay, who's thinking I'm a fucking piece of shit to rank those albums so low in the discography in my ranking? I'm not sorry, but since the discography is so intensely good, you have to put some albums lower, and those albums, I love them to death, but still, Killers is 85% to me, and it's number 8. Next one, it's The Number of the Beast, the next year again, 1982. I'm giving that album the 4th position. 4th, not 4th. The introduction of Bruce Dickinson, so he's a big piece of the band. The songwriting is expanding and getting more diverse. Very well balanced album between short, fast bangers and mid-tempo catchy track also, and crowned with the epic closing track, I Will Be Thy Name. Yes. So that's one of their best track for sure. 90% for The Number of the Beast. That's my rating. Coming next, another album the next year, Peace of Mind, came out in 1983, and it's good for the 6th position in my ranking. First album with Nick McBrain on drums, starting with the upbeat, really fast track with that bass drum where he goes there. It's followed by the incredible, slightly progressive masterpiece Revelation, one of their best tracks. Then you get 6 shorter tracks to finish again with a long ass, epic, underrated also track called To Tame a Land. Yes, Still Life and Sun and Steel are criminally underrated too, I think, on that record. Real nice one. I know a lot of people have that record as their all-time favorite by Maiden. Still number 6 in my eyes, and I'm giving that album 90%. Coming next, it's Powerslave. Powerslave came out in 1984, and yes, it's fucking 5 albums in a row, and 5 fucking excellent albums. Yes, Powerslave, incredible album. The only reason I'm not giving this album the total masterpiece statue is because of 2 Minutes to Midnight. Yeah, it's a good track, but it's not close to all the other tracks on the album. A lot of deep cuts on this one. The Duelist, Back to the Village, Flash of the Blade. The big songs are astronomical, with the title track Powerslave and Rime of the Ancient Mariners. Incredible track, both of them. This record is filled with a lot of epicness. And don't forget the fast-paced Ace's Eye, which is probably their best opening song in all the discography. Do you think that? Or it's cut somewhere in time? That's a discussion that we need to have, maybe. Which is your favorite Maiden opener? Ace's Eye is difficult to beat, I have to say. Yeah. Okay. So, Powerslave coming at number 3. 95% I'm giving that album. Next up, it will be 2 years later. They finally are taking a break because they were touring a lot more than during the first 5 years of activity. Yes, it's Somewhere in Time, 1986. That's my second favorite album by Iron Maiden. Same thing here. All the songs are perfect except one, Heaven Can Wait. It's a great track, but it's not on the same level as all the other tracks on this album. Many very underrated on this, like Deja Vu, The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. You have Sea of Madness. Some of the best lead guitar work in their career is actually on this album. I think Bruce Dickinson did one of his best performances as well. Top 3. It's aggressive, it's versatile, he's at his best. Yes, totally. Their best cover, Hard to Me, also. And I love the fact they are going back to this album or their current tour that is now ending, with Nick McBrain leaving Iron Maiden for good. And thanks to him, 72 years old, was still playing those fucking bangers, fast bangers. Yeah, and after what he had to deal with his health, it was quite a tremendous effort from him. So, good retirement to Nick McBrain. So basically, Somewhere in Time, my second favorite album, 95%, really close. It's a masterpiece to me anyway. Really, really solid album. Coming next, 1988, it's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And yes, that's my favorite Iron Maiden album. It's 100% perfect. Yes, this is to me the ultimate Maiden album. Everything is perfect on this one. The story, the visuals, all the songs are fantastic. Infinite Dreams is my favorite song ever by Iron Maiden. The Prophecy is incredibly underrated. Only the Good Die Young. The title track is a fucking monster of a track, and the ending of that track is so unbelievably great. What a tasty ending. They integrated some synthesizer on this album, so the sound feels a little bit larger. Yeah, it's just better than ever. I think it's the 7th album in a row that is totally incredible. And can you name me another band that did 7 quality albums like that in a row. It's like 7 albums in a row that are at least great. I'm thinking about maybe Blind Guardian, Opeth, Limp Bizkit. No, kidding. Well, fucking. Okay, not complaining about Limp Bizkit, but never 7 albums in a row. Okay, let's move on. So that was my favorite Maiden album. And yes, coming next is No Prayer for the Dying, 2 years after 1990. That's my 16th favorite album from Iron Maiden. It's quite low on my list. Adrian Smith left the band, and it shows on this one. Yannick Gers took his place on lead guitar. Still some very good tracks like Hooks in You, Mother Russia, Tell Gunner, The Assassin. Unfortunately, we are far from anything they released before. The rhythm guitar are boring as hell on this album. I think still the melodies are there. There's a lot of good hook, but it's not enough. It's not what we were used to, and that's why it's just rated 65%. No, not 65, 55%. No Prayer for the Dying, 16. Next one is Fear of the Dark, released in 1992. It's coming at the 11th position on my ranking. It's an uneven album, but a way better effort than No Prayer for the Dying. There's a lot of excellent songs on this, like the opener, Be Quick or Be Dead, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Judas, Be My Guide. There's a lot of other songs that are good. Yeah, 70%, 70 or 75. Maybe I can jump that rating to 75, but who cares? Yeah, number 11. Next one is The X Factor, coming in 1995. And yeah, that's the first album with Blaze Bayley. Bruce Dickinson went to do his solo project, which is pretty good, really good, I have to say. And Blaze Bayley is a good singer, but he's nothing close to Bruce or Paul Di'Anno in my personal taste. Still, he has a good voice. There's a couple of very good songs on this album. Sign of the Cross, the opener, with that instrumental break that is really amazing. Judgment of Heaven is a really good track also, and The Edge of Darkness, that will be my top 3. Pretty strong tracks. However, this is decent at best. So 50%, 17th position for The X Factor. But remember, like, to me, 50% is average, decent, and 60% is already good or interesting. So it's not because I'm giving 50% that I think it's crap. Crap is more like 20%. 30 is bad, 20 is like very tolerable, 10% is like a painful album to listen to, and 0 is just unlistenable. I tried, it's just unlistenable. Like, yeah, even Saint Anger is not on that level, but it's really close. So, yes, we did The X Factor, so let's go with the second album with Blaze Bayley on vocals. Virtual 16 came out in 1998. Yeah, that's my 15 favorite Maiden album, so it's low on the ranking also, but it's not the worst. This one is better with Blaze, I think. The song Future Real is pretty good. I love The Clansman, fan favorite, I think, on that album. Don't Look Into the Eyes of a Stranger, personally, is my favorite track on this album. It's a kick-ass track, really love it, and I'm giving that album 60%, so it's a good album. Some tracks are just not very good, but still there's good material on this. And okay, who thinks that the Blaze Bayley period should be ranked higher? I know there's people that likes those albums a lot better than me, and I want you to tell me because you have your reasons and I want to know why. Okay, next one is a big one. It's Brave New World, released in 2000. It's the big gathering with Adrian Smith coming back in the band. Bruce Dickinson is coming back also. Yannick Gers is staying on lead guitar, so 3 guitar player from now on. And Blaze Bayley is out, obviously. It's the reunion album. It's fantastic. It's up there with their best work they ever did. Vocally is one of the best. The hooks are to die for, I think. There's a good variety of songwriting. It's progressive and very straightforward in some other songs. Like Wickerman, The Mercenary are more straightforward but so melodic, so catchy. Bangers. Dream of Mirrors, Out of the Silent Planet, probably some of the most underrated track ever. They are really good, really long, really progressive. The chorus on this album, except maybe some of the track that are quite repetitive in the chorus, like Brave New World is saying I Brave New World all the time, but it's still a good chorus. So Brave New World to me is 90%. It's my 5th favorite album by Iron Maiden. So next one, 3 years later, they release Dance of Death. And it's my 7th favorite album. I know a lot of people are giving a lot of shit to that album, and I guess maybe why? No, I don't get it. I think it's a wonderful follow-up to Brave New World, and probably the awfully disgusting cover art discouraged a lot of people from loving that album, because it's just plain atrocious, that cover art, and it's difficult to like an album with an atrocious cover art, I guess. Yeah, I do, because sometimes a really nice cover art, you want to like the album, but it's not that good, but you're like, cover is great, it should be great. Okay, so every single track has something nice to offer, I think, on this one. Some excellent chorus on this one too, and lead guitar is on fire on a lot of tracks. I really love memorable melodies in tracks like Rainmaker, Montsegur, Normalize, Passchendaele, Frontier. Dance of Death is a fantastic track. And that's why it's ranked high as that, 85% for me. And a nice acoustic song, Journeyman, on that album also. Never forget about that track, it's fucking good. Next one came out in 2006, and it's A Matter of Life and Death. It's my 9th favorite album. That one took me longer to appreciate it to its true value, because I think it's a grower. So it's still growing on me right now. Not right now, but in the last few weeks. And the songs are almost all long and progressive. So it was a turn in their songwriting, and you need to be in the mood, I think, to appreciate that album. But when you're in the mood for a longer track, it's really nice. You have For the Greater Good of God, The Legacy, you have The Pilgrim, you have Lord of Light, a lot of good tracks. 80% for A Matter of Life and Death. Great album, excellent album. Next one is The Final Frontier, that came out in 2010. A lot of songs here are, I'd say, forgettable, but still, there's some beautiful pieces of music on that record as well. When the Wild Wind Blows. I love that title. The Alchemist, The Talisman is probably my favorite track here. So there's even some other track that I really like Coming Home, The Man Who Will Be King are pretty nice songs that had great moments. So it's not a bad album for for those reasons. But it's coming at number 14 as well, and it's 60% album to me overall. But there are some tracks that are like 85% minus 90%, I think. Yeah, that's it. Okay, coming next is the Book of Soul, and it was released in 2015, and this is another long album to me that suffers of that fact. Yeah, and they did super good songs on this, like the Red and the Black. They did also the Book of Souls, Empire of Clouds are exceptional tracks, I think, in my view, but also they did a lot of mundane songwriting on this one, a lot of skipper that I just can't listen to that thing from start to finish. I have to skip at least 4 or 5 tracks to get through that, and it's not good. But at the same time, the best moments are so high that I have to rank that album not that low. So it's coming at number 12. It's 70% to me. And yes, I think the best tracks are worth listening to quite regularly. Oh yeah. And now that's the last album, Senjutsu, that came out in 2021. Will it be the last Maiden album? We don't know. But to me, it's coming at number 13. It's another album that has overlong songs. Not all the songs are overlong, because my favorite songs are the longest one on this one. It's a little bit ironic to say that to start, but the last 3 tracks, The Parchment, also Hell on Earth, and Death of the Celts are my favorite track. I quite enjoy also the Writing on the Walls, Time Machine. They were both performed live, and I thought they were sounding really strong live. The Death of the Celts also was really strong. Hell on Earth was a masterpiece live, and it is on album too. I'm giving that album 65%. I know a lot of people are liking that album way more than me, but I think it's just too long, and a lot of forgettable songs on this album, unfortunately for my taste. But half the album is really strong, I think. So that's your turn now. Now you're coming in the comments and you tell me what's your ranking of all the Maiden albums. It's now that you tell me what it is, and then I will answer you back. And I like to discuss that because with a band with such a longevity as Iron Maiden, like 44 years playing heavy metal, releasing album, it depends when you did notice the band. If you know the band since the 80s, it's not the same as getting to know the band like in 2019. So because of that, your appreciation will be really different, and maybe if you started to like the band later, like when I don't know, Senjutsu came out or the Book of Souls, maybe your ranking will be really different, since you didn't have that emotional attachment to the first records. And so that's why the ranking of a band that has been around for such a long time can differ a lot from one people to another. That's why it's so interesting to have the perception. So when you'll do your ranking in the comments, please tell me for how long you've been knowing the band. I know that band, I think, since Fear of the Dark. So I was really young, but I remember Fear of the Dark being their last single, and I fell in love with that song, obviously. It was so cool. With my baseball team, we were listening a lot of Iron Maiden and Metallica and Pantera. So yes, that's a fucking cool band and one of the best I've ever seen live. Their stage presence, the stage, everything is just a perfect adventure to go see Iron Maiden. So I will say to you, hop the irons twice, and I'll see you in the next one. What next band you want me to do a ranking? I have a few ideas, but tell me what you want. Maybe I'll do it. Thank you for being there, for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!